Hello everybody, welcome back to my Gameweek 5 team selection video. This is Pras, you're on the FPL Wire, and we could be on bench boost. So that's what the thumbnail says. I will show you. It's not a great bench boost, but I want to get rid of the bench boost. Hope everyone is well. I hope people who are joining are still keeping faith because my 4 week game weeks have not been great. I have a story to share. So I had this offsite with my office yesterday, and so we were at a dinner, and this guy comes up to me and says, "Have you seen the Office League? You're last." And I was like, "What?" And then the guy shows me the league. They're like 13 people in the league. So what can I say? Like I had to tell him trust the process. I had to tell him long-term probabilities and all of that. He was not listening to any of that. So I hope the people listening here understand that it's a long way to go and still keep faith. If you're listening to this, hopefully you still keep faith. But I'm going to be flexible. Don't worry. Like people thinking, oh, he's not going to do a change or whatever. I just didn't like the idea of wildcarding so early. I still think there's a lot of information to come. If it works out, it's called patience and elite play. If it doesn't work out, it's called rigid and inflexible play. But, ultimately, you cannot control if it works out or not. So anyway, last week, people who look at it and say, oh my God, so sorry for Van der Ven first bench. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I was not going to play him. In fact, the other path that I was going to take, I was even going to sell him. I got a price rise out of it. So was it a good thing that he scored or not? I think ultimately because I get 0.1 team value more, I think it was better that he scored than I sold him. So in a way, of course, in another alternate universe, had I played him, that would have been nice, but it was not really something that I was planning to do. And we move on. So Salah with another last minute goal. And someone reminded me, I've had 4 last minute captain returns in 4 game weeks. So theoretically, I've been lucky. Because Salah game week 1 against Bournemouth, he scored. Game week 2, Bruno got the penalty. Or was it game week 3? Game week 2, Salah got something else. And then, of course, in this one, he got the penalty. So, captain penalty takers, I guess, who play 90 minutes. That's one learning that I have applied. And if you want to apply as well. But apart from that, nothing much. Gyökeres scored, but I'm actually, last 2 games, he's been subbed off on the 65th minute. Now, this was a tough week because they've got Man City. They had Europe. So, but I'm going to be watching this because I don't like players, even if they're on pens, if they're getting less than 70 minutes, then they're not nice. So, another reason why maybe, wait and see, because this is now even without Havertz. What if Havertz is fit? What happens to Gyökeres then? Happy to have him though. He scored and he looks like, a lot of chances come to him. He's no Isak or Haaland or whatever, but it's an Arsenal attack, which is not as good as a Liverpool or Man City attack, but he's also 9 million, right? So, okay with him. Wirtz and Watkins, I pleaded with you guys last week. This is now 4 blanks each. So I'm just going to keep you for another 2-3 weeks, I guess. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll show you my team. I plan to play Watkins pretty much the next 3 weeks if I don't wildcard next week. But Wirtz, this is probably the last week that I play him. So that's about it to talk about it. Reinders was quite unlucky not to get a return. And the defense was all right. Like Senesi got defensive contributions, Richard got a clean sheet, Anderson got a 10-pointer. So all good. So talking about the future, a lot of people are looking at chips. So I would highly recommend, if you've not listened to the main pod, go to the chip section, because the beauty of it is Lateriser, Zofar and I are actually on different setups and different ideas of what you want to do. And the good thing is they're all fine for our teams. Like, for example, I'm looking at bench boost this week. They are not. Lateriser is looking at wildcard in game week 6. Me and Zoff are not. Zoff could wildcard in 8. I could wildcard in 8. Could be 7. Could be 9. Or I could even delay it to 30. So there's a lot of options open. And this fixture ticker tells you why. Because if you're wildcard in game week 5, again, it's the same dilemma. Like, Salah is probably the best captain this week. And again, if you disagree with this, firstly, I would say that maybe this is the wrong pod, because Salah is going to be the best captain this week for me, and I'm not going to be sitting here debating if Haaland is the best cap or not. But in the world where my beliefs are true, then Salah is the best captain this week. But next week, Haaland becomes the best captain. So you have to navigate it either by selling Salah for Haaland, or you free hit, or you wildcard. All those options are open, and including for myself. All three options are open. I could wildcard next week, I could free hit next week, or I could triple captain Haaland next week. So there could be a chip in play next week, regardless of what I do. But going into game week 6, the best thing you can do, which is what I'm going to try to do if all my players are fit, is to save a transfer. Because when you save a transfer, you leave all options open. If you make a transfer this week, then you have not left yourself the opportunity. Of course, you can take a hit. Every time you can take a hit. But if you have 2 free transfers, you can just, like if Saturday evening, Salah is dropping, Haaland is rising, you want to make the move. If there's an injury or some catastrophic thing that happens midweek, you play the wild card. So I think I like that option as taking your 2 free transfers and then just seeing what happens in game week 6. Of course, we will learn more in game week 5. We will learn more in the Carabao. So that could shape your decision. Like last night, Isak started. Isak played 60 odd minutes, which was actually a surprise. So if Isak is playing 2 out of the next 3 games and he's looking good, then that may change your wildcard strategy. It may say, actually, I want Isak on my wildcard. So I'm going to wildcard in 8 and I'll have a Haaland Isak type draft where it works a lot better. Some people may want to get their bench boost out of the way and then wildcard. So then 8 could be better or 13 could be better than 6. So it's so team dependent that have a think. But the 3 windows I see right now are 6, 8, and 13. Now 8, people would say, why are you thinking about 8? 8 works in for a couple of reasons. Number one, people like me who still have Bruno and Watkins, their 7 fixture is very good, but then 8, they're terrible. So if you wanted to go for a setup which needs more funds and you want to stay patient with those 2 guys, then you can wildcard in game week 8. Earlier, Chelsea's fixture in game week 8 was very poor. It was away to Nottingham Forest. But now that Nottingham Forest is not the new Nottingham Forest. It could actually be a great fixture. So that's another reason. There is an international break between game week 7 and 8 as well. So that gives you another reason to, for a couple of weeks for you to think about things. Maybe there's IB injury. So game week 8 for various reasons works very well. And I'm not ruling it out. And I know, these things sound silly before it's done. And now there's a long way to go. So we'll see. But there is a reason for you to go Haaland switch in game week 6 and then flip it back in game week 8. So, of course, if Haaland looks amazing, nobody's going to do that. But let's say Haaland does okay, Salah does okay. Salah scored 2 returns in 6 minutes last night. So it's not like a given that we've given up on Salah. I haven't. So game week 8 wildcard could actually be a no Haaland, Salah wildcard. And then you build up to it so that by game week 13, you get Haaland as well. Or you switch Haaland to Salah by game week 14, especially if you're free hitting in game week 13. Because game week 13 is a week where you want pretty much both your guys, the Liverpool and the Man City guys, but maybe not by game week 14. By game week 14, you can probably just have the one. So that's the thinking. Or game week 15 even, I haven't shown it here. But the idea would be you could have a path by using the free hit where you only have to have one of Haaland or Salah. And ultimately, later Salah is off to AFCON anyway. So it's only a problem until game week 16. After that, once you've navigated it with just one of the guys, then you're fine. Because Palmer looked great yesterday as well. Palmer had a goal and a goal disallowed as well. Played 90 minutes. So I just think Palmer is going to be quite important from game week 7 onwards. And we can differ in our views. Some people can go Salah and Haaland setup and not have Palmer. But I generally prefer the latter, where you have double Arsenal defense, Palmer, a Haaland, a Liverpool player. It could be Isak, it could be Van Dijk, it could be something like that. Sounds like a reasonable setup, and that works for game week 6 as well. That's why game week 6 wildcard absolutely works as well. So that's how I'll say on future planning. My own personal thinking is save, worry about it next week. That's what I'm going to be doing. So game week 5, teams to target. Game week 5 is a little bit of a rubbish week, to be honest. Now, it's not the best week to bench boost, but I'm not looking for 15 returns on my bench boost, right? So it's not about that. It's about the fact that there is no immediate fixture. Like, there's one fixture over 1.7 expected goals. And whenever I come to this slide, I get comments on, who believes in market odds. If you don't believe in market odds, don't waste your time listening to my video. Like, go and make money in the markets. If you can beat the markets consistently, you shouldn't be playing FPL, to be very honest with you. So I'm of the mind, over a long sample, over a long term, it's hard to beat the markets. So you rely on it and you use that for your decision making. If you don't believe in it, and if you think, let me take an example, Wolves score 4 goals against Leeds, then so be it. That's what your beliefs are, so you do that. So as per the markets, people who are actually putting money onto it, nobody is believing that there's going to be a lot of goals this weekend. There's a lot of 1-1 type games here. In fact, that is also reflective of the fact that there's not a lot of clean sheets. So it's not only that not a lot of goals are expected, not a lot of clean sheets are expected. So essentially, markets are saying these are all difficult to call games, and we're just going to say 1-1. Arsenal, Man City, Arsenal could score 1.65, Man City could score 1.1. Actually, the example I should have used is that Man City scored 3 goals against Arsenal. If you have that belief, cool, man. Like, you captain Haaland. So that's what I'm trying to say. So this week, I would say, unless there's an emergency or you're trying to play your bench boost and you must use a transfer, it's not the best week to use a transfer. So put out who you have and just hope for the best. Like, these clean sheet odds are very meh. Like, I don't see many Aston Villa defenders out there anyway. And then 33 and below, you can play anyone. It does not matter. Ideally, play somebody who gets a defensive contribution point. So even if they don't keep a clean sheet, you get a 2 point. But apart from Van Dijk and apart from a Liverpool attacker, there's nobody who I would say is absolutely essential, and you need to move heaven and earth to get them. And also, on the contrary, I would also say you don't have to move for your Man City now. There's a lot of clamor to get Haaland. He's even risen in price. Reinders, people are looking at game week 6 and thinking, I need to get early. Arsenal away is the toughest fixture in the league. So again, if your beliefs are different, if you think Man City are winning that fixture, cool. Then you should do that. I can only give you advice based on what I'm seeing. So, of course, the goal projections are reflective of the lower market odds. So there's very few players over 0.5 expected goals this week. Just Salah and Gyökeres. And even with Gyökeres, I'm like, really? Like, that's over 90 minutes. It's Man City. So nothing looking that exciting. You can see it as an opportunity. This I don't mind. If you want to say, look, Salah is Salah, but it's Everton and he's looking wide or whatever. And he's not hugely backed. Like, it's not like he's the obvious captain. Like, most weeks you'll have like 3 players over 0.5. So you can say, okay, I'll take him on. You can take him on with Haaland. You can take him on with Semenyo, Watkins, whoever you want. So there is an opportunity if you wanted to go there. But people like me are going to say there is no second best replacement that I see that is on penalty, is going to play 90 minutes and plays for a very good team. So I'm just going to stick it on Salah. That's at least my approach. But this is quite not a great chart to see and say, okay, this is an exciting week. There should be a lot of goals. So coming to my team, this is it. Sells in goal. We'll see what Ange does. Not very ideal that they conceded 3 to, was it Swansea midweek? But now I've made my bed, so we will play with Sells. And people who've listened to me know I hate him, but let's see. Senesi, Van der Ven, Anderson. I think these are 3 good, solid defenses with some defensive contribution potential. So I'm going to start. Actually, starting doesn't matter. I'm on bench boost, right? So Senesi, Van der Ven, Anderson, Richards, and Esteve as the defenders, all 5 of them. 2 of them probably get defensive contribution points. 1 or 2 of them get a clean sheet. That's what I'm expecting. Is it the ones who get points on my bench, or is it the one who score outfield? Doesn't matter. The idea of the bench isn't to actually nail the guys on the bench. The idea is to play when I'm not really sure between Richards and Van der Ven. I'm not really sure between Esteve and Senesi. I'm just going to play all of them. So that's how I look at the bench boost anyway. Similarly, between Reinders and you can argue Anderson, like you can say, okay, Anderson, man, like you're going for DEFCON against Burnley and Ange, just play Reinders. Well, this week I'll just play both. So that's the way I would like to think about it. And that's why I'm playing the bench boost, where there's enough benching headaches here. And I hope and pray and expect all 15 of these guys to play. So this is why the bench boost will be played and Salah will be captain. So just a quick note on future planning. Like I had mentioned, next week I take 2 free transfers if everything works out. So Salah becomes Ndiaye and Mateta becomes Haaland. And so if I do this move, if I go down this path where I'm not wildcarding and I'm just using transfers, then Haaland could even be triple captain. That's for next week's video. We will do analysis on this, on why he should be a good triple captain. We'll talk about future double game weeks and stuff, and why even then I think, if the vibes are there, then you triple captain Haaland. Now, why have I gone for Ndiaye? And actually, if you look at this team, let's just read it out. For game week 6, Like Sells home to Sunderland, Anderson home to Sunderland, good enough. Van der Ven home to Wolves, very good. Senesi away to Leeds. Leeds have been a little bit struggling to score. He's good for DEFCON, very good. Anderson is, I think, the best 4.5 defender in the game. You can play him in any game. Ideally, this would have been a better defender, but it's fine. He's okay. If I was in free hit, for example, I would have Guardiola here if I wanted to go for something different. Then Reinders is good, Ndiaye is good, Bruno is good, Anderson is okay. And then Gyökeres away to Newcastle is not ideal, but then Haaland is great, and Fulham at home, Watkins is also okay. Of course, trigger warning for people who don't like Watkins. So I'm even benching Wirtz next week. So like I said, I don't actually have to play Wirtz now after Everton. I'll take a couple of price drops, but my team value is anyway screwed. So I will have to just play with on hard mode with a lower team value. So I think the team looks okay. So I'm trying to think, does it need a free hit? Maybe not. And the idea wasn't, the team was always going to look okay. I've talked about this in the past. The idea was, how does it look in Game Week 7? Are you prepared to go without Salah? As it looks, the masses are. And so I'm happy to go with the flow. And then Wildcard to get Salah, where other people may have used their Wildcard to get rid of Salah. Then Game Week 7 is how this team would look. I would essentially, why I did Ndiaye is because then Wirtz can become Saka. That's the idea. So if Saka is fit, I really hope he's fit, then home to West Ham, Saka and Gyökeres are like an amazing differential. Now, Arsenal struggle with goals, but West Ham are terrible. So if I look at this team, Haaland, Brentford, Gyökeres home to West Ham, Watkins home to Burnley, Saka home to West Ham, Bruno home to Sunderland, Ndiaye home to Crystal Palace, Reinders away to Brentford, and the defense looks good too, apart from my goalkeeper who I hate. So I think Game Week 7 is fine as well. Of course, things change and I will evolve this, but this is my thinking. Now, if Saka is not fit, I can even do, for example, in Game Week 6, I can get Semenyo, and in Game Week 7, I can get Mbeumo, also home to Sunderland. So those are options, but of course, I don't need to decide all of that. I'm just sharing what I'm thinking at the moment. So that is all for me, saving transfer, playing bench boost, ranked 8 million in the world, and we are, no, is it 8 or 7 or 6? I don't remember, but ranked very badly. We will see how this week goes. I wish you all good luck. Those of you playing your bench boost, all I'll say is I hope all 15 players play, because it's frustrating if they don't play. Otherwise, we'll see what points they score. All right, take care. And if you do like the stream, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I also actually, before I go, I wanted to also share a little bit of a club update. They have updated the app, and this is my team. Now, this is going to be a struggle, but is it visible? Yes. So I've got Ekitike in up front with Watkins. I've got Elliott, who I think will start. I've got Bruno. I've got Paqueta, and I've got Wirtz. And then in defense, I've got Lacroix. I've got Agbadou, who's playing Diouf. I'm playing Milenkovic, and in goal, I've got Sells. So that's my team for club this week. If you wanted to get involved, we'll put a link in the description. And otherwise, I wish you all the best.